an Oracle. There you go.
That's all he would have needed. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the deciding match here in match 2 of Group D. The winner will move on to the winner's match. The loser goes to the losers. We're going to jump into that game here on merry-go-round right now. In blue, supported by Yoey Flash Wolves, is PartinG down at the bottom center.
Up here in the top right, it is CJ herO tying things up last game. Now we have merry-go-round, one of the more aggressive maps. More aggressive than King Sejong, I'm going to have to say.
Yeah.
Much harder to get a third base in this map.
Even in some ways more aggressive than, say, like Expedition Lost.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is, I think, is why we saw that one actually banned out. From how these two want to just actually go at each other like two rams colliding, just bumping heads together. I don't think we're going to see a third base in this series, Moonway. I just don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think we're going to see a lot of aggression on one or two bases. Could even see another proxy Oracle. I wouldn't be too surprised, especially on this map.
This map, we see it all the time on those high ground areas, just what we were talking about in the previous series. It's a really popular strategy, especially because in some of these locations, even like if you take a gamble and you proxy like the top, for example, in PartinG's case, you're closer to both bases, actually. So no matter where your opponent is, you're still going to be closer. So you can actually just put it in a safe location your opponent might not expect to scout and get away with it.
Well, we are going to see scouts from both players pretty early on. PartinG's going to get the upper hand with that one. Going to go straight to herO's base.
Yeah, sometimes luck does come into this.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, just look at game 2. Speaking of luck, well, Dark Shrine not getting scouted.
Yeah, that was a ballsy Dark Shrine.
Well, this is going to give a small advantage to PartinG. Not a huge one, but definitely a great feeling knowing exactly where your opponent is and being able to possibly even deny some mining with some little harassment. Come in here, is going to check those pylon placements.
Yeah, let's see where herO's probe goes from here as well. Because he did scout. It's like, okay, no base there. He could, leave the probe somewhere else, maybe go for a proxy, or he could simply just go for the base scout. Just know exactly what's up.
There's that mineral denying I was talking about, just bothering those pros mining from the close patches. For those who don't understand, only one worker can mine from any patch at any given time, so if PartinG repeatedly mines and stops mining on a patch, it means that herO can't mine from those close patches, which messes with his mining efficiency ever so slightly.
Yeah, nice cheeky play. Something we don't see that often these days compared to the olden days where people used to, when they first transitioned from Brood War, it was like one of the main things because that was such a popular move in Brood War.
Yeah.
But, kind of stopped happening as much. People have started using their workers a little bit more efficiently. They wanted to go back home and start mining as soon as possible or start blocking a expansion instead.
Yeah, we've actually seen this huge shift. That's actually like a really good point. I mean, just looking at StarCraft 2 history, that in the beginning, we did see this a lot more. We also back then had a lot smaller maps. There were a lot more all-in, so you would see pylon scouts, supply depot scouts all the time, whereas nowadays you see more players being greedy, not scouting at all, scouting very late, scouting with a hallucination first.
It's become, a lot more efficient, I'd have to say, more than anything else. People are just finding complete efficiencies with their units, making sure they get as much money as they can as fast as possible.
Speaking of money, the 5 minerals is never going to be returned.
No.
We're going to have an Oracle for PartinG, and herO is also going to go Oracle, albeit slightly delayed.
Twilight as well for PartinG. And no follow-up just yet for herO, just a couple of gateways. And there's a Twilight just a little bit later, so identical techs going into this.
Yeah. Now, this sort of play is really flexible because you can go into DTs if you so really desire, but it's usually we see a blink follow-up to this to have that attacking force that you can use coupled with the Oracle. Fake Oracle is going to come in here, and that's actually smart. I like this because it might scare herO initially here.
Wouldn't it be good if it kind of forces out that photon overcharge? And I think herO identified it already. He was like, aha, it was fake.
Hallucinations take double damage, so you can, if you're paying close attention, figure that out pretty quick.
Yeah, we're going to see this Oracle of herO actually do some damage, surprisingly. New Mothership Core to help, trying to force that back with Photon Overcharge.
Is he going to lose this? No. Close call, though.
Wow, 20 HP. Also see a Phoenix on the map for PartinG, so he's going to try and look for this Oracle, shut it down once again.
I like this.
Yeah.
And we're going to see Blink from both players. PartinG making another Stalker. I feel like PartinG is going to be doing the more aggressive follow-up because he knows if he shuts down that Oracle, he doesn't have to worry about it coming back into his base anymore. In fact, he could actually leave the Phoenix at home probably and just go.
He can just move across the map, and he might want to do that considering herO has already got that natural start building at this point. So the pressure's on PartinG to either expand himself or start applying the pressure, start trying to trade out, maybe even try and kill with this greedy sort of play from herO.
Notice that PartinG checks for hidden nexuses. This has actually become a lot more popular in Korean meta to hide nexus in PvP. We've seen it a lot. We saw it in the GSL recently. We saw it in Pro League.
SOS just really popularized that again with his ways.
So it's definitely something you really need to check for in this matchup especially. I mean, we see it, SOS did it in PvZ as well, but like in this matchup, if you get away with that, it's just so ahead.
Infinity times ahead. You're up a base in a mirror match. It doesn't get like more of an advantage than that actually. And we're actually seeing a much later expansion from PartinG.
Yeah, and he's just going to let it go.
He's going to let it go. But I guess he's kind of making up for it with a faster Robo, I guess. You know, he's going to have that sort of compositional advantage in a few minutes or a minute or two.
It's almost different means to the same end. You know, they're both going to end up with the 2-base economy with Immortals. The Immortal choice for PartinG here is going to give him a little bit more safety holding onto his bases, and also maybe a little bit more follow-up pressure. But he's definitely going to lose out on some of the money. And in fact, if you look at the supplies right now, you can see that that's starting to actually take a bit of effect.
It's actually quite surprising. 4 extra Stalkers, which is really making the big difference in supply right now for herO. So he's got a lot more Blink Stalkers on the map. You see a Forge and Robo follow up from herO. So, you know, he's not that far behind.
Yeah, and PartinG actually goes for a fast Observer before going into Immortals. And I wouldn't be surprised if herO skips that because he just hallucinated scouts. Or he just did a hallucination scout, so he's not as concerned. He's not as wondering right now what's going on.
Yeah, and he's got that Oracle sitting with his army now, so he's always going to have detection if he wants it.
Yeah.
And he could very well be waiting for that Observer to come across the map so he can kill it as well.
In fact, he's already activated the Envision, just waiting for it.
Just waiting for it. Still a while away there.
Is he making it? No, he's actually going to make an Observer first, just to be safe.
Safer than sorry. Fair enough.
These little things that we, as the bird's eye view observers, can actually see. These little advantages that the herO is just going to, just to be safe, cover all his bases here.
Why not? You know, when you're already up 10 supply at this point, you might as well, you know, take the extra step, make sure nothing's going to catch you off guard, especially after a wonky game with DTs like last game.
Both players going for identical robo timings, and this Oracle actually is so lucky. Comes in right as the Stalkers move out. They do have Blink, though, so he's going to have to be careful. He's going to lose that.
Nice revelation there. He's going to have an eye on everything that's on the map with these Blink Stalkers for now. And we're going to just go into that, you know, mid-game. Both players are kind of settling in. They got their 2 bases. From here, it's a lot harder to really find much damage once the Oracles have been picked off and once Blink is online.
Yeah. I don't know, the army supply is just massively in favor of herO right now. He's got just several more units. He's just warped in several more sets. He's also getting 3 more gates. See PartinG adding 2 cannons.
That's interesting.
He lost his Oracle, and he knows there's another Oracle out there. It makes me feel like he wants to attack because he's got cannons up to help defend, and he wants to move across the map. But
that could be it.
I don't know. I mean,
it's
herO
super safety. It's like an investment in like a mirror match that, I don't know, you not normally would want to make. You'd kind of want to be using this money for, you know, extra zealots or something for your army, so you can move across the map. For instance, if herO was to throw down a very quick 3rd base like we are seeing now.
PartinG needs to identify this. I mean, we talked about hidden bases earlier. The same sort of advantage is applied to a regular base. If it's just unknown, it might as well be a hidden base. So,
well, even if it's known, you know, it has a lot of power to it because it's going to put more pressure on the player. Psychologically, he's going to be like, well, I have to take mine or I have to deal with it. That's the 2 choices he has, but he's still like playing catch-up. He's kind of following the build choices and game game choices of herO.
Does snipe that Oracle, so at least he's not worried about that. And we do see cannons coming up a little bit later for herO. But this is going to be important in the late game, like Supreme late game, where we got 8, 9 Zealot Warpins, DT Warpins, if it comes to that, if this game does get to that point. So it's an investment that will pay off a lot more later on should we get to that point. But these two might just pass each other here.
It seems like they might. Gotta be careful. PartinG does have actually Revelation on his units as well.
Oh
and
my
that's
god.
a much bigger army for herO.
He could actually just fight this.
He can.
He was a bit timid at first, but I think when he sees this on the watchtower, yes, he blinks in. And look at that, 2 Immortals here to support as well. There goes that Colossus, and Force Fields come down. That's going to be game, I think.
That's perfect. Those Force Fields claim 2 Immortals. He cannot afford that. He's down 30 supply.
And now, when he killed the Colossus, he knew that it wasn't going to be able to walk over the Force Fields anymore. And oh boy, there goes the Mothership Core. Recalls it away, but...
He's counterattacking the 3rd base, but, if herO had map hack and knew exactly what was going on in the natural, he might even just go for the kill. Because he is so far ahead at this point.
In fact, it looks like he's considering just recalling.
If he wanted to, he's so far ahead that he can afford to trade out a base, recall back, or even just stay ahead with the base.
I think he's just gonna, exactly, stay ahead with a base, or rather not stay ahead with the base, but kill this base and then try to force something at the natural, and then if he needs to, recall.
He can actually just kill this base and recall to his 3rd because there's not enough DPS from these Stalkers of PartinG to actually kill it. If he wants to do it, but he could just be going for the kill instead.
He is going to recall. Okay. He needs to turn on this right away.
Oh, it's going to be close. Oh, what?
It's not the end of the world here for herO, since he did kill his opponent's 3rd, and he got a few of these Stalkers, and actually he's going to get a few more.
He took a little too long with that recall. He was kind of. It seemed like maybe even indecision.
Exactly.
He's moving towards the natural. He's like, well, I should probably actually defend against this. It might have enough HP left. Very unlucky.
Well, as it turns out, PartinG is now desperately trying to get some Archons up here. Some of that gas bank that he has. The double Colossus production as well. If he can hang in there for the next 2 Colossi, defending this is almost feasible. It's almost feasible if he can get those 2 out.
Yeah, very possible.
He needs to make sure he doesn't lose his Mothership Core. He needs to protect that with his life.
Maybe one more Archon with a bunch of Zealots would really solidify this. He isn't too far behind.
I don't think herO's going to commit. I think he's just going to make it look like he's going to attack here and make sure there's no 3rd base, get his own 3rd back up and running, and then just get ahead.
Yeah, I think posturing up, outside this base, force out all those Warpins, and just solidify that 3rd, get that 3rd up, have that advantage.
It's like he just keeps killing pylons. Oh, he's going to go for the snipe on the Mothership Core. Here we go.
Oh, he's really looking for it.
Not going to get it.
What a waste of 150 gas.
He does force that Nexus Cannon.
Yeah.
He forces it early.
He gets it out. There's still one more in the Mothership Core. Just enough energy to do it again.
I think herO is doing exactly the right thing. Just keep posturing here.
Just stay ahead,
You're so ahead at this point.
Just keep containing. Force PartinG to do something really uncomfortable. Sit in his base. Try and make enough army units to even just fight this army. Now he's moving out in the map. Maybe he thinks he has to all in from this, though he is down 30 supply still.
Yeah, and 30 of that supply is an army. The worker count is pretty much even.
Yeah, literally 30 supply ahead in armies. It's kind of steep at this point.
I mean, a lot of this is in Zealot buffer, it looks like. I mean, he's just got so much of that. He's also...
Even, with an army this far ahead, you can even have a bad position and you probably just win the game.
He still needs to be careful, but he definitely has a little bit more wiggle room.
A lot of leeway when it comes to fighting.
I mean, this base is going to start paying off like crazy. Fleet Beacon comes up here for PartinG. I'm not sure what he canceled there for a second. Maybe a second Stargate I couldn't see, but this is a lot of indecision. But I think in PartinG's defense, this move up here, it was never going to work out. Just kind of seeing what he could find.
Yeah, well, here we go. You're very confident in this point.
Oh, he should be. 40 army supply up. PartinG is going to have to use this Mothership Core to survive.
He's found the 3rd base as well, so he knows where to go.
Oh, this 3rd base is toast.
He's going to have the concave advantage PartinG, but will it even matter is the next question when you see the army size.
Look at that army, and look at these hallucinated Colossi as well. Time warps are essential here.
He's going to let it go. He's going to sack it,
He wants to try to hide behind these Tempests. Oh, here we go. Stalkers blink forward, try to snipe the Mothership Core. They will not get it. The time warp here is excellent for herO. PartinG has no idea which Colossi are real and not. Good pullback here on those Zealots, and he actually has to recall.
Wow, look at that. The supply is shortened very quickly. Still 20 supply lead now after a big warp in, but still.
That was
it wasn't a good. Well, definitely wasn't a good area to fight in. You know, maybe the one thing you can't do, even at this point, with this much of an advantage, is going to a pretty ruthless choke like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out exactly what went wrong there. I think it's a choke point. I feel like his Zealot positioning was kind of not that good.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things, especially, was the fact that time warp went down on all his melee units, so they was essentially never going to do anything. And the 6-7 Colossi of PartinG were just going to mash everything while that Photo Nova charge started wailing away as well.
All those Stalkers as well, trying to kill the Mothership core and failing, not using their DPS to help out. Good deny on that base that denies that for just a little bit longer. I mean, he's just got this extra base for so long.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what the Fleet Beacon actually ends up being for here is a Mothership, and this is a huge desperation attempt out of PartinG. This is not normal. This is like not in the meta, guys. This is like, you know that thing I was talking about, how you can sometimes win if there's no observer? This is like, all my units are DTs.
Yeah, you know, I really like it actually, but he's got to be careful of obviously a feedback could just do the trick. You know, it is already a pretty low HP unit.
He needs to snipe the observers. This is actually really critical.
Yeah, that's the #1 thing he has to do. It's always going to force him back. But I mean, look at the Mothership core. It has 29 HP, 350 shield. Luckily, it is low on energy though.
Okay,
here we go.
That observer's in a very vulnerable spot here.
He's got to keep it alive.
Okay, it's going down! It goes down! And now, this fight is actually crazy.
Oh.
He actually almost commits to targeting it, but he changes his mind in the last second. PartinG with the Gambit on the Mothership core is going to move forward. Look at Hero's vision. He can't see that. PartinG has to make sure Zealots don't get too far ahead.
That's right.
But what a gamble here. What a crazy move. It's like one of those moves that's like, it's just so crazy, it might work.
It nearly did. If we saw herO try and commit just a little bit longer, he might have actually just lost everything. He still has that bank behind him, though, that extra base. He does have the supply lead still, but now he knows, okay, I need a lot of observers with this because I cannot afford to take another fight like that.
Oh my god, this Mothership core is so out of position, or rather Mothership, I should say. It's like actually so far out.
Well, now herO is so far out of position, because look at this. This third base is going to be assaulted, and there's nothing there to defend against it.
I think this is just going to become an elimination race. Does he have he couldn't recall. This is not a position that PartinG has an advantage in, I don't think, unless he's able to eliminate his opponent's observers, which I suppose is possible.
It's
but he
still
doesn't have
possible.
he doesn't have a lot of anti-air. Like the anti-air units he has is like a few Archons and the Mothership.
Oh, we're actually just going to see a straight-up base trade. Look at this.
Yeah, I think this is probably, you know, going to favor herO. Also, all of his probes escaped. The same cannot be said of PartinG, who none of his probes are currently escaped. In fact, they're all trapped.
Yeah.
What a cool idea.
Great idea. Great sort of, you know, trick to come back into this game if you can surprise your enemy like that.
Ooh.
Almost works.
Gets almost a kill on the Mothership core. He does eliminate all of its
recall
energy.
from PartinG actually back to the main base.
And you know what? He actually might be able to take a fight at the top of this ramp. I think herO should back off.
He should definitely back off. He doesn't want to be fighting up there. And he can just turn around and take another base because he does have 800 minerals behind
There are
us.
6 observers out for herO right now, something that PartinG does not know. 6 observers.
6 observers. That is so many observers. More than enough. And herO, what are you doing?
Oh my god,
You gotta be
PartinG.
so careful, herO.
I think PartinG is actually, like, he's so confident right now. I think he feels like he's in herO's head a little bit. He's like poking against an army that's much larger than his just because he knows, okay, I think he might be afraid.
Well, herO just has to, you know, the perfect choice for him is turn around, make another Nexus, resume the game, you know, up a base. He does have the army advantage. He always will at this point because here, PartinG's not going to be making anything more. He's simply going to be banking everything on this Mothership core, shielding everything from damage.
Yeah, and there are now 7 observers on the map. He's just making observers non-stop because he knows that's his only weakness
That's
here.
his only weakness, Wolf.
He already knows that PartinG can't make any more Colossi, so he doesn't even need to use his Robo time to make more Colossi. Plus, he's at 7, which is pretty efficient. I mean, 8 is like as big as you can go. Yeah. 7 is still pretty good, so I mean, just making constant observers, I think, is the right choice.
Perfect choice.
Tons of pylons to help.
Immortals as well.
Yeah.
You know, these things that help out so much when you're fighting against this many Colossi.
There goes the Phoenix, no? No, as you're saying, though, I mean, the Immortals, so good to add in here. Look at the spread.
PartinG's going to have to look for something soon. He cannot actually afford to just wait around like this, but he knows he's always going to be in such a bad place.
His Mothership has like 29 health as well. I mean, it's so easily picked off by the Stalker count that hero's built up. He's now up to 12. Like, this time he can snipe it.
And PartinG going to be finding his way in here. Here we go.
There he goes, the target. He actually targets on that mothership, which is taking a lot of DPS off of this army, but still way too much Colossus firepower plus the Immortals. And this is going to be it. herO struggled a little bit against that mothership play, but now he's going to close it out and take his winner's spot. PartinG is going to go down with Deer in the losers match.
Wow.
GG.
What a great game. PartinG always making these games interesting. We need more players like him, man, just to spice everything up.
Oh, certainly. You could feel the personality in the game.
And it even forces the other players, you know, to kind of go unorthodox, trying to step outside the box against him as well. Really fun game there. herO, you know, almost stumbling into that mothership, but very smartly pulling back at the right time. Still had that such a lead from that extra base that he could actually recoup from that and just always maintain that lead in army.
What a fun game to watch, and PartinG just tackles these sorts of situations in a totally different way than you expect from anybody. Like when I see this lead beacon, I'm thinking like every other Protoss, okay, he's going to try to tank these shots, turtle a little bit, get a few Tempests out. Even though they got nerfed, maybe he's going to be able to hold on. But no, he's thinking about like the game in a completely different way. He's like, no, I'm getting a mothership out. I'm going to kill his observers because he's been focusing so much on Colossus production, and then I'm going to actually be able to push him back, take a fight. And which happened, but he still didn't have the bank. He didn't have that third base.
If only he had that extra base, he would be in such a commanding position. Oh, man. PartinG, once again, falling short in his PvP.
Yeah, but I feel like the performance we saw from him today was a lot more real than the one we saw yesterday.
I agree with that. I agree. Yesterday was a little bit more of a screw around. You know, a lot of proxies going on, and he was just having fun cheesing against Myung-Sik.